Hey, welcome back to the First Layer. My name's Richard. This is Building a Voron 2.4 R2. Welcome to the live stream on this fine Thursday night. Let me get this going because we have some amazing people that we want to thank. And first and foremost, we are going to thank our friends at 3D Lab Tech, KB 3D, Keene Village Plastics, Dwit 3D, Canada, Build It Basement, who is in our chat tonight, as well as DeWitt, as well as LDO Motors, Big Tree 3D, and BQ 3D, E3D, and Betis as well. We want to thank all those guys for helping us with our build. This is for all of you that are new here, and I'm going to check that in a second. This is our dedication build to our community member that we lost on February 14th, Mr. Peter Reynolds. So this is in honor of him. So let's go through and say hi to some people because we got a lot to cover tonight. So who do we got? We got Teza. Welcome, Teza. We got Non-Fam, who's monitoring all the goodness in the house tonight. We got Sheldon Grant, Newfoundland Drone Productions, or NDP. We got Nick. We've got Build It Basement, who's also doing some monitoring for us. We got Shadell 3D, my Newfie brother from another mother who drinks just as much screech as I could probably do as myself. We got Lost Inc. He says, hey dudes. Who else we got? We got Sid Engineering. Hi all. We got HVAC A to Z, our good friend over there. And who else we got? We got David Vera. I have not seen David's name before, but welcome, David. We've got Randy DiSerrano. We have, I think that's everybody. I think I've got everybody. We got Audacious, or Abadus. Howdy y'all, he says. He's over on our greetings from Twitch. He's over on Twitch. And what's your favorite pie? My favorite pie is raspberry pie. But if it were to be a real pie and not an electronic pie, my favorite pie is lemon meringue pie. That's my favorite pie. So, but we're not talking pies tonight. We are talking about our motion system. So we're getting started on buttoning things up. If you were here for the last episode, you know that, or you watched me pound some aluminum into place and got everything squared up on our frame. And we are now moving on to doing some of the extra stuff. So we're going to get the Z motors going. We're going to get the Z Eyedlers, or Z or Z, it doesn't matter. Idlers in place today. We're going to get the linear rails on so we can get moving on to the next section. Steve Reimer, everybody saying hi to everybody. There we go. Sergio at HVAC A to Z. Now, Sergio's a great guy. He's got a huge heart. I just want to point that out. Hey, we got Gold Jaguar 3D in the house as well. Welcome. He's another good friend of ours. Hey, listen, before we get started, if you are not a member over on our Discord, one of our Discord members like Golden Jaguar or Build It Basement can put a link in there in our chat tonight. Just go over to our Discord, and you have 7 days to use this link that appears tonight. If you don't use the link in 7 days, it goes away, and you'll have to wait for the link to be posted again to join our Discord. We're just building it up. We've got about 30 people in there now, and from all different walks of experience. Guys that are super experienced, guys that have experience better in one area than another. So there's a lot of people there if you have any questions, and there's lots of areas to fill out. A lot of the areas are still waiting for posts to go into them, but there's a lot of places that you can go and visit. And I'm trying to hang out there during the day so that everybody can see what's going on. And if you have a question, you can come down and hang out there with me and ask me questions live. Because I work from home, so I might as well have it open. So let's get on to talking about what we're going to do. First and foremost, let's bring the frame up. We're going to do a couple of things on the frame tonight. I got another camera angle to get some close-ups for when I'm going to be using this guy tonight, which is the new thing that we showed off last time for putting our heat inserts in. And there we go. Golden Jaguar to the rescue, Steve Reimer with a big hi. Hi. I had spaghetti and so I'm full of carbs right now, and I'm just raring to go, and there's a lot to cover. So let's get our frame up here. We'll take this and we'll put it on the floor for now because that's got all of our screws in it. We're going to need those, and we might as well grab this. This is not going to hurt us tonight like it did last time. So the first thing that we're going to do tonight is we are going to flip this over. We're going to put our bottom panel on, and we've got our DIN rails right here. So we are going to put those DIN rails on. I'm just going to adjust one camera here real quick so you guys can see what I'm doing. There we go. Let's go to that camera. There we are. So what I've done is I've already put my screw inserts in, or my T-nuts, or whatever you want to call them. And can we lower the background music now, please? Oh yes, sure. I knew I forgot to do something. Sorry about that. Thank you for the reminder. Let's take that back down. How's that? Is that better? That must be better. Sorry about that. Okay, so we are now going to put our bottom on. Our bottom showed up this week from KB, and we have that right here. KB3D is one of our sponsors on this build, so we have to kind of decide what we want to be the front and what we want to be the back. So the back is going to have the square cutout, as we can see here, and the round cutout. So those are going to go to the back of our machine. And if we look at this, I think I'm going to do it this way. I think I'm going to make this the back. Now this has some plastic on it, so I have to take the plastic off. This is Alumilite, or ACM. This is what everybody likes to do right here. I like to do this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The peel. The peel. Let's flip that over and get the peel on the other side as well. Oh yeah. This is always the funnest part of this, is doing the peel. If you can get it in one go, you're doing good. You're a professional. The audio is probably going nuts right now. All right, so now we've got that in place. Now these panels are 2 pieces of aluminum sandwiched around an ABS core, if I'm not mistaken. And we have our DIN rails here. Now, normally you're going to put your DIN rails across like this. That's the way the Voron manual tells you to do it. Because I'm doing something a little different, I don't need quite as much space as I would if I were doing a regular build, because I've got some things that are going to be different on this build. So I'm going to go this way. I'm going to run it the same way as the actual bed rails are. And there's a method to that madness a little bit later on. And I'm just going to square these up, center them up a little bit. There we go. Get that one on. We are on the right camera. Okay, good. Just going to give them just a little bit of a tighten here. Look at that. Very nice. All right, so let's go on to the next one. We're using M5 screws to hold these in place. Our hardware kit, we want to thank LDO for the hardware kit. They sent it out as part of their sponsorship for this build. There we go. looks about right where I want it. Yep. So we'll take our M5 a screwdriver, or our M5 hex wrench. We'll just give that a little tighten. And I'm not going Hercules on this, I'm just getting it into place. There we go. Now those DIN rails are perfectly fine. You're probably wondering why I don't have plastic end caps for these. It's not a big deal. I don't need plastic end caps. I'm not going to hurt myself. At least I don't think I'm going to hurt myself. So now the last thing that we have to do is put on the last of our linear rails. And my linear rails, I set up a little bit differently. I kind of put 3 of them on ahead of time because I wanted to make sure that I had everything done the right way. So let's switch cameras again. Let's go to camera 3. I think you guys can see that there. Now let's go to the wide cam. Let's go to cam 1. There we go. Go to cam 1. There we go. All right, so what do we need to do here? I'll just move this out of the way for a second. When you get your linear rails, and everybody's going to tell you this, linear rails can be a bit of a pain in the butt. There we go. Move that camera up so you guys can see what's going on. And I'm not in the way. So when you get your linear rails, they come with an oil on them. And that, there we go. That oil is not oil to lubricate these. It's oil to keep them from getting rusty. Now I've got the black ones here instead of the silver ones. I was warned after I ordered these, and I probably should have listened to that these can be kind of crunchy, and they won't. If we look at this, you can see that that doesn't go down on its own. I have to force it. And it is clean because I cleaned it in alcohol. I actually stored these in a bath of alcohol for about, I don't know, 2 hours. I soaked them in alcohol for 2 hours in an alcohol bath, a 99% alcohol bath, and you can see the jugs back here. So let's have a look and see what's going on here. Everybody's just saying hi to everybody else. Plastic end caps also help protect wires, but not critical. Okay, that's good to know. Everybody's just build it basement hello. Everybody's just kind of saying hello to everybody. Okay, if I missed a question, please guys, let me know that if I've missed a question or not, okay? But anyway, so now this is all nice and clean, but it has no grease in it. It has to be re-greased. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and find about the middle there. There's plenty of different greases that you can use. You can use some LB44 or 8042 white lithium grease, which is this stuff. You can get this in different tubes. I have it in this tube because it's really for putting onto my lead screws on different printers. That's what I use it for. I don't typically use rails on anything. This is kind of only the third time I've used rails. So this is a good grease. But what we have in here in this little syringe, and if we go to that camera, I can show you. There we go. So in this little syringe here, we have the Mobile XE3 XYZ grease, the grease that they tell you to use anyway. I don't know the exact name of it. I know I'm bad that way. And then we've got the lithium grease. And then there's another grease that you can use, which I don't think I brought over from my other desk, but that's okay. There's plenty of different greases that you can use. But how you go about doing this, and I had to watch tutorials on how to do this because I didn't know. So I'm going to do this the right way. First, I'm going to lay down a little bit of a cloth here. and so I don't get grease all over everything. All you're going to do is just take the end, you're going to put it right in the hole, and then you're going to watch as you watch for when that grease starts to come out. Around the bearings. And then you'll know you're packed in. And I'm going back and forth here because I'm going slow. I want to make sure that I get enough grease to pack those bearings. And it looks like I've got enough in there now. I so want to comment something about KY. This is episode 3, John. This is not episode 2. This is episode 3. So now what I'm going to do, now that I've got enough grease in there, is I'm going to just run this back and forth. And I'm going to keep the rubber bumpers on either end, just so that I can work it into those bearings that are in there. And now that I feel that it's got a fair amount of grease in there, I'm just going to go ahead and clean off the top of this rail, because it doesn't need to have all that grease on the top of the rail, and doesn't have to get transferred everywhere else. Clean the back a little bit. I'm going to grab a Q-tip here and just clean up some of this excess that might be in the holes that we won't need later on. We'll just put that over there for now. All right, so I think I'm good there. I'm just gonna, again, just run it and just make sure that I got it where I want it. And I think that's pretty good. And it's not gonna fall on its own. It's got enough grease in there to hold it. You can see that it's not falling on its own. I have to bring it in. I have to use some movement to move it around, which is what I want. All right, so now we are ready to take this and put it on our frame. Go back to the wide shot here. There we go. And when you're putting these on your frame, they should face one another into each other on the edge, because that's the way things are going to ride. And you'll see that I've kept the rubber bumpers on here. The reason I keep the rubber bumpers on is because I don't want the bearing itself to go flying off and then lose all the balls and then ruin a bearing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this on its back, or on its front in this case, because this is the side I'm going to be working on. And let me see something real quick here. I'm just going to turn that off for a second. Move that there. Let's get a better lens on here. I think it's a little wider. Okay, that lens doesn't want to work very well on there. Okay, so we'll take that lens off. For whatever reason, my Nifty 50 doesn't want to work as a good lens for getting close-ups. So, but I want a little wider shot, so I'm going to grab a different lens altogether. And I've got a 18 to 55 here. This should be fine. Am I going to get a picture? There we go. Just bring that in. You guys will be able to see what I'm doing a little bit better. There we go. Okay. I knew I should have done that ahead of time, but don't lose your balls. I'm trying not to lose my balls. I did not get the high wind rails, Nick. I bought the ones from Robot Dig. They're the same people I bought my rails from the first time. And I did buy the black ones the first time as well. And the unfortunate thing is that Andy from 3D Lab Tech warned me about the black rails. He said that they're not as good as they could be. They're a little crunchy, and I'm noticing what he meant by that. So it is a little crunchy. So we're going to need about 10 M3 T-nuts. So we got 10 of those. We'll zipper that up so we don't lose any later on. We're going to need about 10 of the M8 or M3 by 8s screws. So we've got all of our screws now. There we go. This is the boring part. You guys are all gonna notice that this is the boring part. So, KB3D, Australians need more 3D part stores. Yes, they do. I agree. Places you recommend. I've been looking for AliExpress, but hesitant. I'm in Australia. Yeah. I bought my first build. I bought a lot of things off of AliExpress. I really did. And it was decent quality stuff. It wasn't bad at all. So what I'm using here is this little tool, this little gauge tool. We're going to be using this again a little bit later on. But this little tool here, I use this to help space my rails off the bottom, because it's right around that 3 mils, and that's what they call for in the instructions, that you want this to be about 3 mils off the bottom. I want to say that I really like these Aluma or ACM panels. These things are great. They're going to handle the heat just fine. So we're going to use them, and I got a really cool special one I want to show you a little bit later on, or maybe we'll save that for a little bit later in the build. But in the meantime, we're just going to go ahead and put in our nuts, putting in our T-nuts. These are the spring-loaded ones. They can be a bit of a pain in the butt if you don't have the right tool to insert them. We'll just get that there. And I'm anal. I know that sounds bad, but I'm anal. So I like to have all of my T-nuts going in the same direction. Maybe that's just the Aries in me. I don't know. But we're going to use 10 T-nuts here to hold this in. And just because there's 19 holes in the actual rail, the instructions when you look at them on these things are made for the 250. So all of the measurements in the manual, with the exception of a few things that are universal, are all based on the length of things that you're putting into the 250. Okay, dun, dun, dun. You guys are just talking about yourself. KB, we don't do just so, yeah, we don't do it. It's just so expensive. Shipping to Great Britain, yeah, it is expensive shipping to Great Britain. I don't blame you. So I'm going to now take my spacer. I'm going to put it up against there, and I'm just going to roughly place my T-nuts here in every second hole. Move those up. Because you don't have to be in every hole on these. And some people might say you don't have to be in every second hole. You can go to every third hole. But like I said, I'm anal. I'm anal. And there we go. Roughly, we've got them where we want them. So, how do we line this up? We have these wonderful little things. Again, this is part of the BOM and the STLs that you can print. These are just little clips that go over top of your rails. And I like to space them. First and foremost, I'm going to go through and have a quick little peek. I'm going to move this rubber stopper in one because I know I've got to put a screw there. So I'm just going to move that in one. And the one on the end, I'm going to move in two, the one at the top. And then I'll take these little guys. These are designed to center your rail on the extrusion, aluminum extrusion. So there we go there. And I will come back with a smaller X-wrench and just kind of line those up. And they all should be pretty good. All right. And here's me being anal again. And you guys are going to probably laugh at me. But I put extra ones in. I print off extra ones of these things. Because you can print these in PLA, it doesn't matter. And the only reason I print off extra ones is because I want to be able to hold things where they're supposed to be. And I think I'm pretty much there. So I'm going to go ahead and start dropping in my screws. Make sure that this is set to where I want it. Oop, almost dropped that. Then we're just going to take our X-wrench and just drop that first one in there. I'm not going to tighten it down because I want to still be able to move it. I just want to be able to grab those nuts that are in there. So I can do my final adjustment up and down on the rail. I run 4 along the rail as I screw it down as well. Yeah, I think it works out. Better safe than sorry, I think. And I'll just drop the rest of these in here. Hey, there's 3D Experiments. Welcome in Dwit 3D. And John, my friend John from Edmonton, who I'm going to be recording an episode on something that John sent me, a regular episode, which you guys haven't seen in a while. This is the boring part, right? I got to thank Tim over at DeWitt 3D for bringing me this Lazy Susan, because it's going to work out well for moving things around, especially later on in this build today. So I'm just going to move that up a little bit. I've got room that I can manipulate this around if I have to. Yep, I can still move things around. I just want to make sure that I've got that spaced correctly. I do. There we go. I got that nice and spaced right where I want it. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tighten these down. Center out, learn something new every day. Yeah, you want to center these on the rail because they're not very center on their own, which is very weird. They have a hard time centering up. And I did forget a screw. Look at that. I'm going to put that in there. Tim, you missed the lube talk. Tim doesn't care about my lube talk. Tim's not feeling completely well, guys, so let's hope that Tim starts feeling better soon. So now that I've tightened those up, I'm just going to give them one more little tighten, because now I can get some leverage on it. There we go. I don't know if that can be seen on camera. It really can't. This camera might be able to do it. There we go. So we are right over here. We're working our way down here. Hey, there's Mika Steve. Welcome, Mika Steve. You want to get these tightened down, but not so tight that you break a screw, or that you strip them out, or that you bend the rails. But you want them to be tight enough so that the linear rail is not going to be loose on the extrusion, because that can be bad. That could cause you to have a real problem later on. I've got still a fair amount of play in these. Now, all you experienced guys that have done these builds, you're all probably laughing at me at the moment. Yeah, I got a crossbar in the way. I'm trying to get you guys a good angle here of what I'm doing. Let's just go back to this one. There we go. There we go. Damn hard to build on video. I agree. More from the lazy S than from the installation. I'm not sure what that means, but I'm sure John will let me know when the time comes. I keep saying it. I must be missing some stuff in the conversation. I'm sure I am. Yeah, we're hoping Tim doesn't get a cold. All right, so I'm going to pull these off now. I want to make sure that my rail is not loose on there, and it is not. That still runs up and down real nice. I can get rid of these. That takes care of that portion of our build. Let's make sure that all of our little rubber stoppers are still in place. All right, so all of those are in place. So let's move this out of the way for a moment. We're going to be bringing it back in just a few minutes. Get this out of the way, because now we get to build. I feel like a mad professor. My hair is so dang long. Let's get all the stuff that could be flammable out of the way. Put all that flammable stuff over in the flammable area. And let's grab this guy. All right, so we have these guys to work on now. These are our Z mounts, our Z for our Z motors, and for our belts to run on. So what we need to do is, first and foremost, we need to put in some inserts in these areas here, and I believe there's 2 that go up here as well. So we've got 2 inserts here, 6 there, and we have another 3 here. So that is a total of 10, I believe. Nope, that's 11. We need 11 inserts. So we need to grab our box with the inserts. And there's our inserts. We're going to use those. You know, I'm so excited about doing this build. I've been chomping at the bit to do another one, and I'm so glad that I was able to get this going and be able to do it in honor of my friend as well. And I can't thank our sponsors enough on this. Again, KB3D, Chris, who's in our chat tonight, Build It Basement, Dwit 3D, who's been printing all of my parts for me, LDO, who else we got in there? Fadus, who came across with a hot end for us. We've got E3D, who sent us their Revo hot end. So yeah, we got a lot of people in on this. Big Tree is sending us our electronics, so our board, our screen. We're also going to be seeing, what do you call it from them? Their new EBB SB 2209 cam board, which will go on the stealth burner. We're going to put the stealth burner on this guy. Tim had some of these tips left over, so he brought me one of these tips today. And so I'm just going to take all of my inserts, and I'm just going to toss them in the spots that they need to go. Oh, they don't go on this side. Look at that. I almost screwed this up already. Thanks, guys. Thanks for not telling me. Is this show Tim gets out of the speed comp? No, Tim does not get out of the speed comp. Flammable makes things more fun. Thanks, David. Thanks. Thanks for that. Thanks. You commented that we might be laughing at your mounting the rails. My comment about laughing was more from how your printer keeps turning and moving while you try to put it together. Okay. All right. I see what you're saying. Okay. Rest might have 5 to 10 parts. 3D Lab Tech, KVP. Yes, I missed both those guys. Yeah, we got a lot of sponsors on this. KVP supplied us with the ABS that we need for this build. And my hands are really big and they're just not functioning to get these right where they should be. Okay, let's put that where it is. Come on. Stop sticking to my finger, you stupid thing. There we go. Oh, come on. All right, we're in the hole now. At least I hope we are. You know, it might help if I turned it on. Use the Canadian hammer. These ones have a little bit bigger diameter for these holes. That's why I wasn't a big fan of these ones. I like the other ones that I had. I'm going to use those on this section here because they actually have a little bit longer throat on them. They're not as shallow as these ones are. I'll use these ones in another area, but I've got these little guys right here that are a little bit longer. So, and they'll sit in there a little bit nicer when I'm trying to sort things out. A little bit more square, and they kind of pop into those holes. There we go. Yeah. So I'm trying to watch the chat here as I do this. I got the iron on now. You know, we make fun of Tim over at Dwit 3D when he does silly things or cuts himself, but I'm sure I'm going to do stupid things too, because I'm trying to do 7 things at once. And if you guys want to make a drinking game out of it, go ahead. If I burn myself on an insert, you're going to have to drink, just so you know. That's the rules of our drinking games. I have the iron set to about 300 degrees. I'll just give it a couple more minutes to heat up here. See, these ones are a little longer, and they've got a little, get my hand out of the way. They've got a little bit of a shelf on them, so they go in a little bit easier. And they kind of self-align. Man, I'm so glad that Tim wanted to make some of these, because these insert presses, because man, this just goes fast. I always seem to get one that's just not quite. There we go. There we go. Set that down in there. Look at that. I've set my stop so that my stop doesn't allow my iron to hit the bed or hit my workbench at all. There we go. Well, that one went in a little far, but that's okay. That looks good. You can see there, we've got all the inserts in. Thank you, Sergio. Yes, please hit that like button. If you're not a member of the channel, please, or not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. It really is going to go a long way. So we've got one more to put here. And we're going to use the original ones for that, because these holes are a little bit bigger, I find. So they're a little tougher. The other inserts fit a little bit better. So we're going to do that there, and we'll grab some of these inserts here. And don't touch the brass inserts after you've put them in. Let them cool off, because you will burn yourself. There we go. That one's a little low, but that should be fine. We got 2 more that are going to go in right here. 1 and 2. And these are for the foot that goes on a little bit later on, after we get this together. There we go. Melty, melty. And there we go. We have all the brass inserts into this section that we need. You don't need any brass inserts there. And now we can turn this off because we're not going to be doing any more brass inserts. Move that out of the way. And now we have to build this section. And I need one more piece to do that, which is in here. And I think that's all I need from there today. We've been at this for, he does, I've seen it, just haven't looked at many. Maybe do an improved version with a rail and magnets. I missed a conversation. I know I missed a conversation there somewhere. Somebody can, I think Vector 3D sells the kit. Yeah, this is a Vector 3D design. Vector 3D, you can get it off of his website. If you go and look for the heat insert DIY iron, he's got, there's two versions. There's a free version that you can download, and then there is another version that you can purchase, which is an updated version. And this is the updated version. It's 8 British pounds, so $11 maybe. So what do we need? We need our big 80 tooth gear, which is this guy right here. We're going to need a G2 pulley, 9 millimeters wide, 20 tooth. We're going to need that small belt. We're going to need 3 bearings, 4 shims, and the proper rod. Now the first thing that we want to do is get this guy out, because I'm going to look at one of my other ones that I've already pre-built. This is what we're trying to achieve tonight. We're trying to make one of these, okay? And we have to make sure that we get these bearings aligned properly so that the, or this assembly with the bearings aligned properly so that they sit here and they move freely. And that's what we want. We want to be able to move these freely. So, first things first, I know that putting this on, we are going to need to be 33 millimeters from the end of here to the bottom of our pulley. So let's go to our metric. And let's make sure we've got the proper wrench for tightening those down. We do, so I'm just gonna quickly snug that down just a little bit. Not so much that I can't move it, but not too much that it, wow, you don't get better than that. That's almost right on the money. A little bit of movement there. There we are, 33 millimeters, perfect. So what I like to do is I like to snug down the first one, just so it's not going to move anymore. I'm going to grab my Loctite, which I did not bring over because I'm a fool. Here we go. Of course, it's right on my desk, right where it's supposed to be. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum. All right. So now this one here, I'm going to take this one out. I'm going to put a little Loctite on it. Let's shake up my Loctite. Let's get our rag out. Always like to shake up my Loctite. Adafruit has one as well, John says, and the STLs are free. Okay. Now, I just built mine out of spare parts I had kicking around from other printers that I had disassembled. And I just happened to have everything that I needed except for the washers for the counterweight. So Tim needed to get some for his, so he got some for mine. And in all honesty, I don't think you need as much counterweight as there is on there. Like, there's a lot of weight on there. Put a little bit of Loctite on there. Pop that in there. Come back. Tighten that down. Get rid of the additional Loctite. Now I can take out this one here. And I can put some Loctite on this guy. Because I know that pulley's not going to move now. Put a little bit of Loctite on you. Now, the Loctite police that are here tonight, if there's any, they're going to tell me that I'm putting Loctite on wrong. And I very may well be. I don't know. I very seldomly use Loctite. So I put it on, I let it do its work and grab the threads and call it a day. So I was going to do an episode this Saturday on doing the AB drives, but I don't think I'm going to need to. I think I might take a little bit of a break on Saturday because I do my regular show on Sunday. So I think I'm going to take a little bit of a break on Saturday. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move on and we're going to finish this assembly. We're going to put 2 shims on this side. So just like that. Then we're going to take one of our bearings. We're going to slide that into place. Then we're going to put another 2 shims on. And we're going to get our big boy. And we're going to make sure that those are backed out enough. Make sure that we don't have 2 in there. And we're going to take, oh, look at that. See, you got to watch what you're doing, Mr. Cleveland, because you will mess it up. I'm going to slide that shaft over. You want the hub of the shaft to the inside. You don't want it to the outside, you want it to the inside. So what I like to do is I kind of like to line it up the same way. So again, I'm just going to find that flat spot on the shaft. I'm going to line up my first one. I'm going to kind of squeeze this together with my fingers and tighten up this first grub screw. Tighten it down just till it gets to where now that doesn't feel like it was going all the way down like it should have been. I had this problem yesterday too, where they would get to a certain point and then they would kind of catch. Okay, there we are. We're in place. Somewhat. Of course, everything slid down, so now we're in place. So you want to make sure that everything's snug to one another here. Let's see if I can use this to demonstrate. So you want to make sure that you've got everything nice and snug to this pulley. Now we'll just go ahead and take out this grub screw and we will put some Loctite on it. A little bit of Loctite. And I did it again. Dang it. Put it in the wrong freaking hole. I did that yesterday too. I doubled up grub screws in the same hole and wondered why I was missing a grub screw. Wasn't thinking. There we go. We got that nice and tight in there now. Just wipe off the excess. And we'll pull that first one out. Some Loctite on him. Have a good night, Sergio. Enjoy your visit. There we go. Some people might say I'm using too much Loctite. I'd rather it be unable to move and come loose than have it come loose and try and fix it later. So there we are. So now that assembly is together. So now we're back to here, and we still have two of our, there we go. So let me know if that's, okay, now I'm at my studio computer and can actually type and tag LOL. There you go. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our strap or our belt. I'm going to put it on and take our two leftover bearings. Boom, boom. I'm going to drop it in to that assembly. We want to get the center bearing lined up in the center, and then these outside bearings lined up in their little trays. Once we've done that, we are good to go. Unless you're like me and you mess it up like I just did. Come on, there we go. All right, so they're in there now. We're going to clamshell this up just like so. And now we're going to drive our screws in here. And for that, we need M3x40s. Little blurry, okay? There, that should be good. Drive our... Now, how do you guys do this? Because everybody's a little bit different, I find. I like to get the screw started, and then I'll come back and tighten them all down. How do you guys like to do it? I know we've got some expert builders in here, so I just wanted to grab the threads of that nut back here. So that's what I'm attempting to do right now, is just get that to grab that nut. And hopefully my belt will stay where it's supposed to. And then I usually, just like a car tire, I go to the center, put one in the center. Just like you were tightening lugs on a car. Okay, it's grabbed. I'll put this one in. Snug all lightly, okay? Keep it loose initially, make sure parts align properly. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. I got one screw that just doesn't want to oh, there we go. Just had to get past something, that's all. Much better, okay. So yeah, I'm just trying to get them all to align. I'm just going to bring it in just a little bit. And there we go, just so that it grabs that screw. Put another one there. Another one here. And one more here. All right, now we can start pulling it together. And again, I'm not going too deep into it just yet. I'm just till I get that initial stop. Then I'll come back and do the whole thing. Get all those screws right where they need to be. There we go. And what I'm looking for when I'm looking at this is to see how far the screw is protruding out. And I want them all to kind of be the same. Because I know that these screws protrude out just a little bit. And nice and flush everywhere. Does this still turn freely? Yep. So that still turns nice and freely. All right, so that's done. So now we have 4 of those done. We have to put on the, well, we put on the foot later. I kind of put the feet on early. So we got all of our Z drives done, the magic of television. We have to do this guy right here, which is one of the idlers. This is the last of the idlers. I've got the other 3 already done. And there they are right there. So we have all of the idlers. We've got our bolt in there. We've got our pulley in there. And that is the wrong pulley. That is not the pulley we need for this. So let's first get the right screw. What screw do we need for these? I put them together so early I forgot. Come on. Come on, idlers. So an M3 by 16. These are M3 by 8s. We don't need our heat inserts anymore. So we're going to put those away so we don't lose them. And we need an M5 by 30 bolt as well. We'll need an M5 by 30. We need an M3 nut. And an M3 by 16. A bolt. There we go. And we will get that done. Man, we are moving right along here tonight. Mine are just lower than the top surface. Yeah, mine are just lower than the top surface as well. I like the colors. Yeah, the black and the purple. It was supposed to be dark gray and purple, but for whatever reason, and this is no fault of anybody, The gray just does not want to print on any printer it goes onto, and you would think that it would. It would do just fine, and unfortunately it doesn't. So, yeah. I'm going to put these excess M3 by 40s away. We dumped them all out on the table, and we don't need them all right at the moment. So we are going to put those away because we're going to need them for later. Boom. We need an M3 by 16 here. There we go, one of those. I should have printed myself out some of those hex trays, being that everything in my logo is hex and everything around my studio is hex, and yeah. I like the purple because it kind of reminds me of the second greatest guitarist of my generation. And somebody might dispute me on that, but even though he was a weird cat, I did get to work with him once. He started out, you know, partying like it was 1999. I worked with him in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and I was really very happy to be on the crew for that show. He was super short. Prince was an interesting cat. Very cool artist. Not Phil Collins, no. Prince was awesome. Yeah, Prince was a great guy. I mean, kind of weird, but funny. An amazing painter. When he came to what is now known as the Burton Cummings Theatre for the Performing Arts in Winnipeg, it was a very kind of an intimate show, and he showed up with a 40-foot truckload of gear, and probably about 10 to 12 feet of that truck had the art that he had been doing while he was on this tour. And all that art had to come off the truck and go into the venue and into his dressing room so that he could work on it when he wanted to work on it, which was, I thought, was very cool. So I got to see some of it, and I did get to say hello to the man. Didn't have much more than a quick kind of, hi, how are you? I really like your music kind of thing. And then it was, you know, it was time to work. And then when the show was over, he didn't stick around like a lot of artists do. He just kind of got up and jumped in his limousine and went to a very private venue. In Winnipeg, we have a place called Taché Hall. And there he had planned sort of a midnight, I don't know, weird concert where there was like much less than what the venue held, because the venue holds, I think, close to 2,000 people, and it was packed. Like, it was literally packed. But the venue that he went to only held about 150 people. So it was very weird in the sense that the people that went there were very special indeed to be invited to that sort of venue, which at the end of the day, it was really cool. But now I have one more thing to put together, and that's that guy. Oh, I'm not finished putting the first one together. Look at that. I got sidetracked talking about my experience working with Prince. I loved his music. I thought he was an amazing artist. I did think he was a little weird though, but you know, I thought he was an amazing guitarist. I think he was the second best guitarist of my generation. Jimi Hendrix was first. And of course, Prince took a lot of his cues from Jimi Hendrix, and became, you know, the phenomenon he was before his passing. So, all right, let's finish up that Eyedler. I thought I was done, but I wasn't. I got sidetracked. I was talking. My ticket must have got lost in the mail. I've been fortunate enough in my career when I was in the entertainment business to work with some amazing artists over the years, in all honesty. And I'm not kind of flying my flag or trying to brag, but I will say this about some of the people that I worked with. They were amazing talents, and it's too bad that they got caught in an era that unfortunately they couldn't get out of. We have some great talent here in Canada that unfortunately just could not get out from that 80s style of music. One such person was Lee Aaron. Anybody who knows the metal queen Lee Aaron, or has heard of the metal queen Lee Aaron, she was a great talent. She has an amazing voice, and unfortunately, yeah, 3D Experiment, who wasn't influenced by Jimi Hendrix? But Lee Aaron was a great talent, and still is. She is now, I can see on YouTube, she's putting out some music again. It's not as good as what she did before, but again, I'm older too, so I still liked her music. Even her, like the Metal Queen song that she did, an amazing piece of work. I think what partly ruined her career, didn't do her any favors, was when she appeared in our Canadian rag called Wee Magazine. For anybody that knows what Wee Magazine was, it was kind of our version of Hustler here in Canada, and it came out of Quebec. Sheldon Grant has a question. He says, how do we feel about the Sovol 3D printer, specifically the SV06? Any opinions? I've only seen it in videos. Yes, I'm doing the Revo Voron hot end. Yes, for my hot end. Yes, the Revo. Hey, there's Joe Jolly. Hello, Joseph. Yeah, so I've only seen it in videos. It seems to be right now hit and miss. There are some really great positive reviews, and there's some that aren't so positive. It's pretty hard to screw up a printer in today's day and age. In all honesty, it's pretty hard to do that. I don't think you can screw up a brand new printer too easily, but some people obviously think that you can. And I think that a lot of times when it comes down to the people that are reviewing these, they still don't quite understand what's going on. Challenge accepted. Okay, I noticed the video on the Plus being a fire hazard. I haven't seen that video yet, but yeah, so at the end of the day, I think that some of the reviewers that are out there are just doing reviews for the sake of doing reviews, in all honesty. They don't understand the printer, so they can get themselves into some pretty hot water when it comes to really doing the review, because they really don't know what they're reviewing. And I don't say that to be mean. I don't say that to be a dick to anybody. That's just the way that I see it. And if you can't do a review on a printer, there has to be something really, really wrong with that printer. And it's very seldom that there's something really, really, really wrong with a printer. Yes, it's going to have mechanical failures, especially in the first iterations. I always think that companies spend way too much time throwing their products at the wall, and the wall being us as reviewers and people in this industry, to review their product. And sometimes companies put out stuff early, and I agree with and I agree to that. But putting stuff out early is not good for everybody involved. Let me just say it that way. Because you're relying on your customer base to test your product for you when you should have done that inside your own facility. 3D experiments. I think any Chinese printer needs to be gone over to make sure it has been put together well. Yeah, QC seems to be a problem coming out of China. John says, Joel 3D Printing Nerd pointed out they did not support the cables on the heated bed like they did in the non-plus, so it can short out. Yeah, I did see that video. Yeah, Dwit says, you mean like when the hot end falls off? and almost catches fire on a kid's printer. Yeah, I've seen those. There's no excuse for bad wiring. We should know how to make it safe by now. I agree with you on that one, Gary. Evening, 3D Medic Vince. Nice to see ya. All right, let's keep going here. We've got one more to do, and that is this motor right here. We've got to put our little shaft on it, and then we are ready to put this all onto our frame. What do you guys think? Yeah, I think that's cool. All right, so let's get the flat spot of the shaft there. Let's just tighten this down a little bit, and then we'll adjust it. Get it so that I can move it up and down. We'll get my little tool in here. There we go. Felt it move down. This is the awkward part, because then you gotta try and hold this and tighten up that screw a little bit. Yeah, see, I moved it again. I moved it again. Oh, did we lose that camera? All right, well, we'll use this camera then. We'll just bring this one down. There we go. It happens to this camera once in a while. I don't know why. Huh. Oh well. We're out of one. We lost one camera tonight. Oh well. We'll there we go. All right. So we want to make sure that we got this set right. In the manual, it will show you how to use this little gauge. And I'm just going to hold it in place while I just give that screw a little bit of a tweak. There we go. Just make sure that we're still where it should be. Yep. Exactly where the belt's going to ride. So now I'll just take this screw out, put a little Loctite on it. Camera needs a nap, maybe. Build it. It's all black. No. Oh, you guys are playing with me again. Jesus. I know, Jesus has nothing to do with it. Go a little bit of Loctite. Audio fine. Thank you, 3D Experiments. This is payback for instigating it on Tim's channel, and I know, I get it. I'm a jerk. I shouldn't instigate that on my friends. I mean, we're trying to be as professional as we can. Oh, I said that with a straight face. We do try and be professional as we can. Just revert to interpretive dance. Yeah, the last thing you guys want to see me do is dance. Yeah, that's not good. Hey, there's Andrew Murphy. Hello, Mr. Murphy. Give those just a little bit of a tighten. Keywords, as we can. Oh. Yeah, throwing money at me isn't going to make me dance. Let me tell you. All right, so we need one part. We're going to go into our parts bin here. And what part do we need? We need that part. And that goes on like so. Now, I put Loctite in the area for these screws that go in here. So you guys can tell me if I'm being an idiot or not. But I don't want these to come loose on me and cause me problems later on down the road. And I know that vibration can cause them to come loose. So maybe I'm just being paranoid, who knows? So I need 3 M3x8s. Yeah, you guys, yeah, you don't want me dancing. No, no. Hey, Tezza. I think I said hi to you earlier. Don't blame you. I did that to mine to the day. Yeah, I like a little Loctite in these threads. And somebody's going to say to me, oh, that's going to mess with your ABS. That's going to mess with your ABS. And you know what? I've never seen it mess with ABS, and I could be wrong about that. Somebody can correct me if I am wrong, but I've never seen it mess with ABS at all. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. There we go. I'm trying to get this into a shot where you guys can see what's going on. I'm just putting these last 3 screws in. Little blue Loctite, yeah. I am the Lord of the dance. Speaking of dances, have any of you guys seen the Wednesday Addams show on Netflix? I watched that with my wife when it came out because we love the Addams family around here. I like anything sort of spooky and kooky and that kind of stuff. So we watched it, and the dance that she does in there, that young lady who plays Wednesday, she actually made up that dance kind of just before they went to start filming, and she was very nervous about doing it. And in all honesty, I think she did an amazing job. I can't see any reason why that shouldn't have been in that movie. How about Cookie? Cookie? Yeah, I'll have cookies tomorrow, actually. I'm going to have cookies tomorrow. So I need some M5 T-nuts and some M5 by 40 screws. So we're going to move this stuff out of the way for the moment, because now we get to bring back our frame. Now we're going to bring back the frame. Okay. I'm not going to put it on the Lazy Susan. But I am going to change the camera angle again. There we go. So you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm going to start right here. We need some M5s. We've only got M3s here at the moment. So we need some M5 T-nuts. We're going to open up our tackle box full of our screws. There's our M5 T-nuts. And we need some M5 by 40s. For sure we're going to need other screws and T-nuts as well in just a little bit, but we'll come to those when we come to those. So, we need 2 here and 2 here. all the way around. And they have there we go. Two there. And two here. All right, so we're going to grab our first motor mount and make sure that we get this orientated right, because this is the front of our machine, that's the back of our machine. So we are going to have to take this guy off. We're going to have to take our foot off. So that we can get at that one area. Now, let's see if we can line these up. I think that should be it right there. Find out it's kind of hard to see down in there. Looks like we're there. Let's get our M5s. Trying to look at the chat here. Well, that's just not going down far enough. There we go. Why are you not grabbing? There we go, we're grabbing now. Yeah, we're grabbed now. Well, that one seems to be a little small. That's why it's not grabbing. Doofus. There we go. It always helps if you have the right size wrench. We want to make sure that we're square on here. Because we have another piece that we have to put on here, which is our front motor mount. And the way that I understand that this goes is that you're going to put one screw in first, and then you're going to put, and not quite tighten down. Correct me if I'm wrong, fellas. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Now, where's the box with all my purple parts? I seem to have lost the box that have all of my purple parts in them. Here they are. I need these little guys, which goes in like so. And we need M5 by 10s. So back to our parts bin. Please let me know if I'm doing something wrong here, guys. I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat. Yeah, I like the ACM. I think the ACMs are cool. There we go. Slide that in there. We need a M3 by 10. Or an M5 by 10, sorry. Get the first one in. Second one in. Make sure that that doesn't turn on me. That is nice and flush. So I'm going to lock this in place. Now I'm going to pull this switch and see if I can get this to tension properly. And it looks like it did just fine. So now I will go ahead and crank these down. All right. Looky that. Now let's take our foot and put it back on. Let's put our foot back on. There we go. Hey, Snapshot FPV, welcome, welcome. What did I miss? Something about middle core melting. Okay, let's do this one over here. I don't know, the instructions on this one says they want you to do things from corner to corner, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do them corner to corner. So our next one's going to go here. I'm going to shift this a little bit. I got a big gap on one side. Or at least it seems like I've got a big gap on one side. There we go. It's my OCD kicking in. Just didn't look right to me. There we go. All right, so we're putting in 4 more of these M5s. 2 on the outside. Two on the back. Might as well go ahead and just put them all in. That takes care of those M5s for now. Okay, so all of those are in now. Let's go ahead and put this next one on. Yeah, you don't get better than that on the first try. There we go, that's in place. And now another motor. That would be the wrong one. That would be the wrong one. That would be the right one. There we go. Not that one. Probably should have picked these parts out ahead of time. There we go. Those are the ones I need. There we go. And now we need those 10s again. I can't see the chat because I got the printer in the way. catch up with it just in a second here. Okay, let's have a quick peek what's going on. I was thinking AMC would make a good bed, but I think Dwit was right. It would melt the center. Yes, it would melt the center. You just don't have enough there. There's just not enough material there. Look at that. Now I can tighten that up. And now it's on to this side. We're making progress. Making a lot of progress. Which surprises me. I surprise even myself sometimes. I'm sure Tim says I surprise him sometimes too. For anybody that doesn't know, Tim and I are very good friends, and we like to tease and kibitz each other. And that's DeWitt 3D Canada. For anybody that doesn't really know who we are, but I'm sure all you guys know exactly who we are. Been around long enough to know who we are. I sometimes find it hard to talk while I work, so you'll have to forgive me. I suppose you don't have to forgive me, but it'd be nice if you did. It would be nice if you did, though. Make sure that that's lined up before I put a bolt in there. Another really good Canadian artist that I like and I really enjoyed working with was Jan Arden. For anybody who doesn't know who Jan Arden is, she great Canadian singer-songwriter. Has some amazing records out there. Has appeared on a couple of TV shows. She had her own sitcom for a while called The Jan Arden Show. And it was a funny show. It was a very funny show. Really liked when I worked with Jan. She was a lot of fun. She was an awful lot of fun. Okay, I know I've done something. Yeah, there we go. I knew I forgot to do something. Forgot to put that one foot on. It's a good thing I still have the M3x8s out. You guys can see what I'm doing here. Got to put this one foot on. Man, I am sweating. Not nervous, I'm just sweating. People watching me work. I don't know if that's why I have a hard time working in corporate, because I don't like people watching me work. Then why do I have a YouTube channel? All right. And here's the last one. All right, let's go and put our rubber feet back on. So we're going to be turning this over soon. And then I can romper room and see everybody. Oop. All right. So the last one goes on now. Did I do this okay, guys? Like, I didn't mess it up too bad? I don't think I messed it up too bad. I could be wrong, though. Wouldn't be the first time I've been wrong. I look to channels like Dwit and Steve Builds and our friend Kermit over at Build It Basement and Golden Jaguar, because all these guys do these builds more often than I do. And like I said, it's been a long time since I put one of these together, and it's never kind of been my go-to kind of printer, I guess. I don't know if that's the way I should say it, but I really like this printer. I do really like this printer. Probably one of my favorite printers. I mean, I don't own a Bamboo. I probably will never own a Bamboo. Oh, okay, maybe that's not true. I might own a Bamboo one day. Just not right away. Just not right away. Oh, you rotten son of a gun. Oh, I gotta take that off now. Son of a gun. Got it all lined up. Put that nut in too far. I guess it's a good thing I didn't Loctite it. There we go. There we go. One last thing to put on, and then I can go on to doing the last couple of minutes of this build tonight, which is the Eyedlers. And then I will be very happy. There we go. All right, last motor. It's the last motor. It's the last motor for me. It's the last dance I'll see. Everybody's cringing because I'm singing, but that's okay, because it's my channel and I can do what I want. Except for losing a screw. And if I make up my own song, then it can't be demonetized. Well, I didn't hit that properly. Oh, and the moon hits your eye like a big demonetization. It's amore. Oh, you rotten son of a gun. You moved in underneath there. You slid. Maybe I should stick to my day job. But this is my day job. Son of a biscuit biter. Louder, not life. Well, you just tell your bulldog that he has no culture. The fact that I know songs like Amore really starts showing my age. Oh, service dog's howling. Tim's dog is probably going nuts. Okay, let's see if we can do this again. This time without getting that one screw in the wrong spot. Ah, the joys of 3D printing. Please tell me you are in the right spot. Yes, you are in the right spot. Okay. You tell it what to do sometimes, and it works. There we go. There we go. Wow, this is starting to look like a printer now. Starting to look like a printer. My wife's upstairs probably watching Picard without me. There we go. Foot's on. Move those out of the way. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a printer. Nice and stable. And now I can see everybody. Let's see. Time for popcorn while he works on this one. Yep. Shadell, are you in the right spot? I am now. Everything's good. My bed is good. Or my bottom of my printer is good. I don't do videos, but I help where I can. Thumbs up for that one. So all I got left to do is put in these idlers. And do I want to do those tonight? Because I'm running out of hard drive space. I'm almost out of hard drive space. We are coming up on 2 hours, and that's usually where I want to end it. So I'm not going to put the idlers in tonight. I'll save that for the next episode. But for now, I think I got a lot accomplished. I got more accomplished than I thought I was going to. We've got all the linear rails on. They all move very smoothly. They're greased and packed. No, I'm not American Idol. No. I'm not anybody's heartthrob, to be honest with you. But okay, so this is all nice and square. We're off to a good start. It looks like we're making real good progress on this. I'll put in the idlers in the next episode. We're also going to start building the AB drives on the next episode. We're not going to do, or I'm not going to do a stream on Saturday night. I think that doing a stream on Saturday night, I need a little break, and I'll be over at Peter Reynolds' home, visiting with his wife and his son on Saturday during the day. So that could be a very emotional day for me. Being that I'm very close with Peter and his wife, and this will be the first time I'm meeting his son in person. And I'm going to be going over on Saturday to teach his son a little bit about how to use Cura and how to use some of Peter's printers that they're going to be taking back to Ontario with them. So yeah, it could be a very emotionally draining day for me. So we aren't going to do a show, or not going to do a stream on Saturday, but I will be back on Sunday at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time for Ask for Help. So if you've got questions, if you've got friends that have questions, bring them along for the ride on Sunday. We only go for an hour on Sunday, as you guys know. I want to thank our sponsors, LDO Motors, BQ Big Tree Tech, E3D, Fadis, 3D Lab Tech, KB3D, Keene Village Plastics, Dwit 3D Canada, and Build It Basement for all of the generosity that they have given me to get this build done. and make this happen in honor of my friend. I teased Tim about taking this and you know, getting Golden Jaguar 3D to help me tune it up, and I'm gonna go to him for advice. But in all reality, this is a friendly competition that Tim and I are doing together, and it's not meant to be anything that you know, is degrading or demoralizing. It's just some harmless fun. And I'm sure that he is going to beat the pants off me when it comes to this printer. So Tim has way more experience doing these types of builds than I do. I've built my own printers in the past, but he has way more experience doing this than I do. So until I see you guys next time, thank you very much again for joining me. Again, we're going to do these on another day, and because it is getting late. I've run my 2 hours. Actually, I've run over my 2 hours, and I don't want these to become 3, 4, 5 hour streams. 2 hours is more than enough. So until I see you guys on Sunday, remember that the first layer is always your foundation to a great print, and I hope to see you again on Sunday. Bring your questions, bring your friends, and we'll have ourselves a good time.